The movie kicks off in the vibrant streets of Miami, with detectives Mike Lowry, played by Will Smith, and Marcus Burnett, played by Martin Lawrence, racing through traffic. As Marcus struggles with nausea, he begs for a quick stop to grab some ginger ale. Mike reluctantly agrees, and Marcus not only gets his ginger ale, but also picks up Skittles and a hot dog. Just then, a gunman storms the place, attempting a robbery. Mike bursts in, frustrated that Marcus took a snack break, but Marcus swiftly disarms the gunman, giving Mike the chance to shoot him in the leg. The scene shifts to a much more joyous occasion. Mike's wedding to his physical therapist, Christine. The ceremony is attended by Marcus's wife, Teresa, their daughter Megan, son-in-law Reggie, along with Captain Rita Cicada, her boyfriend mayoral candidate Adam Lockwood, and members of the AMO team, Kelly and Dorn. Even U.S. Marshal Judy, the daughter of the late Captain Howard, is there with her little girl, Callie. But the celebration takes a sudden turn when Marcus collapses on a near-fatal heart attack. As his loved ones panic, Marcus has a vision of himself on a serene beach, where he encounters Captain Howard. The captain tells Marcus that it's not his time yet. After weeks of recovery, Marcus wakes up in the hospital with a fresh perspective on life and a big dose of confidence. His family welcomes him home with open arms. But Marcus's newfound positivity takes a hit when he discovers Teresa has cleared out all of his beloved snacks, forcing him onto a strict health kick. In another part of Miami, former DEA officer James McGrath meets with a cartel banker. He orchestrates a transfer of funds into an account under Captain Howard's name. Once the transaction is complete, McGrath orders one of his men to kill the banker's bodyguard. He then forces the banker's girlfriend to shoot the banker and herself, leaving no witnesses behind. Not long after, the news breaks that Captain Howard is being posthumously framed for cartel involvement. Mike and Marcus rush to the station, confronting their superiors, who now believe Howard was corrupt. In the midst of the chaos, Judy, Captain Howard's daughter, arrives determined to get assigned to the case. She promises Mike that if she ever crosses paths with Armando, the man who killed her father, she will take him down herself. Mike and Marcus later visit Armando in prison, learning Howard was targeted after eliminating key cartel members over the years. Although Armando doesn't recall McGrath's name, he recognizes his face. Knowing McGrath worked with Armando's mother, he confirms he could identify him. Meanwhile, McGrath and his crew press on with their plans, attempting to access Howard's accounts. But as soon as they do, a failsafe activates, triggering video messages from Howard to Mike and Marcus. In the videos, Howard reveals he anticipated being set up after his death and warns them that this conspiracy dates back over 2 decades. He urges them to track down a key informant, whom he calls the Coke Bottle Giant, a man named Fletcher. Mike and Marcus head to Fletcher's club for answers. Fletcher knows they're there on behalf of Howard, but before he can reveal anything, McGrath shoots him in the head, while Marcus is already holding him at gunpoint. McGrath walks away as his gunmen chase after Mike and Marcus. Amid the chaos, Mike suffers a panic attack, and the gunmen escape before Rita and her team arrive. Mike stops Marcus from revealing Howard's lead. They bring the photos and footage to Kelly and Dorn, who unlock a scan code revealing another message from Howard. He explains that he was investigating a cartel case but kept Mike and Marcus out of it after 2 other detectives were killed. Howard also warns that the cartel is insiders in the police and FBI. Meanwhile, in prison, Armando is attacked by thugs sent by McGrath. Mike convinces authorities to transport Armando via helicopter, but McGrath hijacks the chopper, frames Mike and Marcus, and kills the pilot. Mike and Marcus fight off McGrath's men while saving Armando, and together, they crash land the helicopter into a lake. Now fugitives, Mike, Marcus, and Armando are on the run with the bounty on their heads. As they evade capture, Marcus sees this as a chance for Mike to bond with his son, but both are focused on clearing their names. They find a trailer park, attempt to steal clothes, but are held at gunpoint by locals before Armando hotwires a truck and they escape. After the truck breaks down in Miami, Mike contacts Tabitha for help, promising to meet at her club in exchange for guns, clothes, and a vehicle. But when they arrive, Tabitha betrays them, stalling for time so other gangsters can collect the bounty on their heads. Just as they're being taken outside, rival gangsters show up, including Manny the Butcher, seeking revenge on Mike for smashing his hand. His attempt is cut short when the guys escape in a van, crushing Manny between cars before he's hit with a Molotov cocktail. As they drive off, shooting at more incoming gangsters, Judy arrives, trying to fire at Armando. The trio leaps from the van just before it explodes. Now wanted fugitives, with McGrath putting a price on their heads, they are forced to stay on the run. Mike, Marcus, and Armando head to Dorn's place, where they discover he's secretly dating Kelly. Though reluctant to help Armando, Dorn and Kelly agree to assist in sorting through evidence so Armando can identify McGrath. After sifting through surveillance footage, they finally spot McGrath. Dorn uncovers McGrath's history, revealing he was once taken hostage by the cartel, gave up his team under torture, and was the sole survivor. Mike contacts Rita to inform her about McGrath. Moments later, they see through Dorn's security cameras that McGrath's men are targeting both Christine and Marcus's family. While Mike tries to reach Christine, Marcus warns Reggie about an incoming threat. Reggie hides Teresa, Megan, and little Marcus before taking out 15 attackers with his combat skills, finally earning Marcus's respect. Meanwhile, Christine is visited by Callie, who offers help to clear Mike and Marcus, but McGrath's men have already infiltrated the house. McGrath calls Mike, offering to release Christine and Callie if he turns in Armando and Howard's evidence. Armando is willing to surrender, but Mike has another plan. Suspecting someone has been feeding McGrath information, Mike calls Rita again while she's with Lockwood, tipping her off. She plans to head to the station, and Mike insists on joining her. As they descend in the elevator, Rita confirms Lockwood's involvement with McGrath. Lockwood tries to kill her, but Kelly and Dorn arrive just in time, taking him down. They force Lockwood to confess, revealing his motive of cartel profits. Using his voice, they set up a fake call to McGrath for a meeting. Mike gathers Marcus, Armando, Rita, Kelly, and Dorn, telling them they are the only ones they can trust now. The heroes set up a meeting with the villains at an old alligator park, home to a massive albino alligator named Duke. A plane arrives carrying McGrath, Christine, and Callie. Mike has a clear shot of McGrath but hesitates, struggling with the panic attack, fearing he might hit Christine. Meanwhile, the gators start closing in on Armando's position, tipping off McGrath that someone is nearby. Before one of McGrath's men can spot him, Armando shoots the goon, who falls into the water and gets devoured by gators. Mike chases after McGrath and Christine, while Lockwood attempts to flee. The rest of the team engages McGrath's men in a shootout. Lockwood tries to steal the plane, but Rita shoots it down, causing it to crash into the building. In the chaos, Lockwood wounds Dorn and attempts to shoot Rita, but she kicks him into Duke's pit, where the gator makes him its next meal. Meanwhile, Armando protects Callie, taking down McGrath's remaining men before leading her to safety. As Mike battles his panic attack, he has a vision of Captain Howard, who urges him to forgive himself for Howard's death, helping Mike regain his focus. Marcus finds himself on the same beach from his vision, but McGrath catches him. When Mike arrives, McGrath forces him to choose between Marcus or Christine to die. Thinking fast, Mike shoots Marcus in the vest, creating an opening to unload a barrage of bullets into McGrath, finishing him off with a headshot. Meanwhile, Judy tracks down Armando, ready to kill him, but Callie steps in, telling her Armando saved her life. Judy decides to spare him, and Mike helps Armando plan his escape. As the authorities arrive to arrest McGrath's remaining goons, the news reports confirm Captain Howard's name has been cleared. Later, Mike, Marcus, and their families gather at the park for a barbecue. As Mike and Marcus bicker over the grill, Reggie shows up with his chicken, asking if he can cook. At first, the bad boys laugh it off, but then remember Reggie's heroics in saving the family. They finally step aside, giving Reggie a moment of triumph as he smiles in satisfaction. Ride or Die, the sequel to Bad Boys for Life, plays it safe, sticking closely to the formula of the previous film, but failing to introduce anything new or exciting. The movie hits familiar beats, like the chaotic Miami driving scenes and near-death experiences for key characters, but lacks originality and creativity. While visually engaging with its dynamic photography and editing, the story feels uninspired, and the humor and emotional depth don't land as effectively as before. The plot revolves around a weak villain, McGrath, who frames the late Captain Howard for corruption, prompting Mike and Marcus to clear his name with help from Mike's son, Armando. The chemistry between Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, usually a highlight, falls flat here, with many jokes missing their mark. The film attempts to introduce more complex themes like corruption and radicalization, but fails to explore them in a meaningful way. Despite its shortcomings, directors Adil and Bilal deliver on action sequences, especially with drone shots and chaotic fight scenes. The final shootout at a gator farm is a standout moment, though the plot and character motivations become increasingly nonsensical. Ultimately, Ride or Die lacks the surprise and charm of its predecessor, leaning too heavily on nostalgia and flashy visuals without taking the risks needed to evolve the franchise. Thank you very much for watching the whole video. And if you have a movie or TV show that you want us to cover, just comment it down below. We'll make a video of it in the future. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out our playlist for more recaps.